What's up guys, welcome back to Destiny Updates. There's a lot of Destiny info buried in that 12-minute gameplay demo, and I'm going to take a detailed look at all of it. But because there's so much, I decided to split it up into 3 videos. This video is going to be a quick breakdown highlighting some of the biggest points I noticed right off the bat, and then in the next couple of days you'll get part 1 and 2 of the real in-depth analysis, carefully breaking down the entire thing. So let's get into it. Now the first thing I noticed that I thought was kind of a big deal was the ghost. Which, if you don't remember, is this sort of odd-shaped orb-like thing that Joseph Staten pulled out when they went through this sort of dark area so that it could light the way and help them out. Now, when I first saw this, I thought, it's just a tool, it just lights the way or whatever, it's like a floating flashlight. I thought, no big deal. But if you listen closely, it actually talks to you, and seems to be more like an AI with an actual mind of its own. So to me, this feels a lot more like some kind of interesting companion rather than just a tool. On to the next thing, which is the number of weapons Joseph Staten's Guardian is holding. First up, when he starts out, he has his sort of basic assault rifle and a handgun. And you can see that on the bottom left of the screen there, you can see the 2 weapons there with their ammo counts. So that led me to think you could only have 2 weapons, sort of like Halo style, which would seem a little bit odd for Destiny, but that's what I thought at first. Anyways, later on he picks up some loot and actually gets this heavy machine gun, and you can see he didn't have to drop any of his previous weapons to take that. So he now is carrying 3 weapons, his big heavy machine gun, his sort of basic assault rifle, and a handgun. It's also worth noting that he is a warlock and started off with this sort of basic assault rifle, and then was able to pick up a big heavy machine gun just fine. So I believe that means most weapons will not be class specific, which is a great thing in my opinion. On to my next point, here we can see Jason Jones' Hunter performing some sort of magical ability by the looks of it. His whole body starts to shimmer, and then his gun appears to gain some sort of flaming effect off of it. Now I'm guessing this is another form of the Traveler's abilities that different Guardians will be able to use, because they did say that all Guardians share a portion of the Traveler's powers, not only the Warlocks. Moving right along here, the next point is boss battles. We can see right here this creature coming out of the pipeline. I don't know exactly, I could be wrong, but I think he's some sort of monster fallen, but again, I'm really not sure. He just did this sort of ground smash and sent Jason Jones flying, killing him instantly. Now boss battles were already confirmed before, so this isn't really news, but it's still cool to see them for the first time. Now the next point carries right off from this one. After he kills the boss, he goes over to revive Jason Jones. So that's our first look at death and revival in Destiny. We can see this sort of orb there, which I'm guessing is supposed to be Jason Jones' soul, and how exactly you revive him, I have no idea. If there's going to be some story behind that, how it works, I don't know. Now I'm curious to know how that works if you're playing solo. Do you just die and come back like at the tower and have to restart the mission, or is there some other way to do it? I'm curious to know. Now the next point, again carrying right over from this one, after he gets his loot from the dead boss, he goes into this customization menu so he can apply it. Now of course we'll go into great detail on this whole thing in the full analysis. Again, this one is just a brief highlights of the main points. So anyways, we have this customization screen here, and then he goes to the weapons dedicated customization. Now as he's looking through the different options for upgrades on his new weapon, you can see what looks like resources required for your upgrade, and the top thing on the list is Glimmer. Now for those of you that have been following the channel for a while, you'll know that Glimmer was thought to have been another enemy race in Destiny. It was trademarked at the same time as all of the other enemy names were, so it was pretty much all around assumed that it was another enemy race in Destiny. But this must mean that's not the case. I mean, I don't think you're going to use enemies to upgrade your weapon. It's going to be some sort of material, or it could be some sort of fantastic thing like soul something, or I don't know, something like that. But I definitely don't think it's an enemy race any longer. Now it seems like some sort of resource or currency or something like that. Now on to the next point, which is public events. After a fallen ship warps in causing some trouble, what looks like a dynamic event was formed. Now from what I can gather, the way this works is you're traveling in your squad with your friends, say 2, 3, 4, whatever it's going to be. And that's sort of private, you know, you're in your little area doing your own thing. And then something big happens and you get the option to join the public side of it, where you get grouped together with other squads. You can see here he accepts the invite and another fire team joins up with them. Now obviously we don't know specifics yet, but this definitely looks like a really cool immersive feature that should be a lot of fun to use in game. Now the next point, carrying straight over from this one, after they accept the public event and the other fire team joins in, we can see that they are on some form of speeder bike looking vehicle. Now we already knew of a speeder bike called the Pike, which I'm sure you're all aware of, but this is obviously not a Pike. It's much smaller and has sort of a thinner build. It is definitely not the Pike. This looks like it could be human in design, I'm not sure, but it definitely looks like a new vehicle in Destiny. Moving on here, we can see these awesome clips of the tower, which is the Guardian headquarters for us, and of course the city with the Traveler above. Now the next one here is really cool in my opinion. This is obviously the Vex. It looks like a lush jungle around them, which we know Venus has, and it's pretty widely thought that the Vex are primarily based on Venus, so I'm pretty sure that's what this is. The next one that really caught my eye here, we can see what looks like a bandit, and he must be an awoken, because he's obviously much too pale and just doesn't look human to me. So this looks to me like some sort of bandit awoken living out in the wilds. The next one to point out is the Rings of Saturn. This is not really like huge news, but it just looks awesome in my opinion, so I had to mention it. And then here's the big finale for this quick highlights video. Destiny is confirmed for 2014. You can see right here at the end, after the Destiny live demo was finished, it says of course Destiny, and then down towards the bottom, Become Legend 2014. So that's final confirmation of what was all but confirmed before, that Destiny will be releasing in 2014. We don't know when in 2014, but personally, I'm gonna say it's gonna be in spring or sometime early in the year, because the way they're advertising it and the way everything's just been going, it definitely feels like it should be coming out relatively soon. And I think probably the main reason they're waiting is because Activision doesn't want it to conflict with sales of Call of Duty, and if they were released at the same time, both games would suffer as a result. Plus, I'm sure Bungie could always use the extra time to apply even more polish to the game to make it even more epic. So that's it for this sort of brief highlights video of the things I found most important in the Destiny demo right off the bat. Again, this is barely scratching the surface. Over the next couple days, we'll do the full in-depth analysis, where I'll be diving into the details of the entire thing, both everything I mentioned here in greater detail, and everything else throughout that awesome demo. So be sure to stay tuned for those over the next couple of days, and of course we'll have more coverage of Destiny from the show floor of E3 for the next few days, so be sure to keep your eyes open for that coming up on the channel as well. Anyways, that's it for the video. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like. It really helps support the channel and I really appreciate it. But thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the latest Destiny news, and I'll see you in the next update.